Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. I lost a little bit of footage here, so as you'll see, it's now October 1st. Been having a bit of a crashing problem. I'm hoping I can get that sorted out in reasonably good time so that I don't wind up in a situation. Don't put me in a situation. But for now, I think we're just going to kind of continue as we've been doing. So let's go ahead and get us unpaused here. I've queued in a few more paper mills and government admins. I know our paper situation is a little rough, but we're going to need even more of it to continue to do what we want to do. But our finances right now are pretty solid, and we're continuing to integrate territories, so that's going to improve them further. Particularly Bajo Paraguay is going to improve our situation. Amazonas, that's going to take forever, but that's okay. I think we're about to have an election, and we'll see kind of what options we have when that comes up, because I might be able to get up to some stuff, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So I have big plans for changing up the country. It looks like there's a diplomatic play happening between Mexico and the United States. I cannot participate in that because I don't have the necessary interests. But you know, it is what it is. Armies are still a little rough. Don't have a lot of manpower, which is making me feel a little uncomfortable. But it kind of is what it is at the moment. Our population is very low, and it's increasing now, thank goodness, because our standard of living was up a little bit. Now it's back down. Oh, because I bumped taxes back up to Midland. I could afford to bump them back down to low, but we'll see. I'm also going to go ahead and increase military wages. It's going to cost us next to nothing, but I'm hoping that'll, number one, increase the loyalty of my armed forces, and number two, make it easier for my armies to hire. So there's the election. The government carried 70% of the vote, which is pretty good overall. Not really seeing a big change in the balance of power here. So I'm looking at our options for laws. We have a unique opportunity with the Catholic Church being in the hands of an abolitionist to just go ahead and flip over to and ban slavery completely. So we're going to do that. And if the landowners and rural folk raise a stink, then we'll fight them about it. I think that's the plan. And we'll see how that's going to go. So that's giving me a little bit of extra... Yep, there's the revolution popping off. So that's giving me a little bit of extra authority to play around with. So let's go ahead and throw in a consumption tax on tobacco. Oh, that's going to be worth a nice, pretty penny. I could do... luxury furniture is going to be worth more than coffee. So I'm going to go ahead and change that up as well. Although, let me see. Coffee, luxury clothes are 1.4, and coffee would be 1.9. So cutting both and doing services would actually be the best. So let's go ahead and do that. And that's going to put our... Is that right? Did I do a good math? I think I did a math there. Alright, so we got a revolutionary movement, but its radicalism is actually only 50. So I'm pretty confident. I got a 50% success chance, 46% advance chance. So I'm actually feeling pretty good overall about my ability to win this war. Let me see. There's the states that will secede, only these ones. Because only the rural folk are in there. Oh, okay. So this is, if the landowners get in there, they'll be that'll be a much stronger movement. All right. So I will need to be prepared to go ahead and fight the revolutionaries, but for the moment, I can get as far as I can with this, and we'll see. We'll see how things go. I'm continuing to... Our relations with Britain are as high as they can be. France also. So I'm feeling pretty good about the possibility of bringing multiple European powers in here if I end up having to get into a shooting war with my own rural folk. So I'm feeling pretty confident. So we're about to get into our first revolutionary event, so let's see it. The rebel's doctor. A doctor in Rio de Janeiro has been caught aiding wounded dissidents and revolutionaries. His aid isn't just helping his patients, but it's emboldening the entire rebel movement. The doctor's defense attorney leaned back, nursing a small headache. The medical man had proven impossible to work with. His attempts at defense had just dug a deeper hole for himself, and his waffling had been painful, and his refusal to treat his counsel or even his kinfolk had ruined his chances of getting a lighter sentence. His persistent denials had only served to make his name mud. Investigate the medical profession in Rio de Janeiro for sympathizers. Reduce progress by 5%. 20% of academics in Rio de Janeiro become radical. Or this doctor was obviously a lone wolf. There's no need to follow up. Reduce civil war progress by 5%. 2% of academics in Brazil become more radical. I'm going to go with the second one. Virtually all my academics are in Rio de Janeiro, so 2% in the whole country is much better than 20% in Rio de Janeiro. Because I think basically of my universities, yeah, oh, okay, well, 20% in Rio de Janeiro would still be the 20% in the capital, and I don't want that. So 2% of the country overall is better. To the highest standards. Emperor Pedro de Braganza expects the same level... Uh-oh. Are we about to crash again? Are we about to crash again? The music didn't change. Okay, no, seems like we might be good. To the highest standards, Emperor Pedro de Braganza expects the same level of competence and meticulousness from his ministers as he applies to his own work. Now the emperor turns his attention to overseeing a particular cog in the machine of government. Hand-picked clerks, both of them, impeccably dressed according to their means, though the hallmarks of their benefactors shone through. Leftover cigar smoke, a faint brandy stain on a collar corner, little vices leveraged to another's benefit. The emperor's decrees must be followed through, minus 15% decree cost. The bureaucracy of trade could be more efficient, minus 25% trade route bureaucracy cost. Or the expansion of the economy must proceed more quickly, 10% construction sector throughput. I am very, very tempted to reduce the bureaucracy cost of trade routes at this time. Let's go ahead and do it. That's going to give us a big old buffer of bureaucracy, which is going to let us get up to a whole lot of stuff vis-a-vis the government, which is going to be extremely, extremely useful. In fact, this will finally finish our boost in education, which was stalled because we were low on bureaucracy. So I'm pretty pleased with that result overall. All right, rural folk, what else you got for us? The procession of provocations. Dissidents in Uruguay have made plans for a major march around government offices in the near future. While they profess peaceful intentions and claim everyone will be unarmed, the march itself will obviously serve as a rallying point for those unhappy with the government. That damn parade and that infernal music. I can't even see them from here, but I can hear them loud and clear. Stop that march by any means necessary. 33% chance we get 2% of Pops Radical. 33 we get 10% of Pops Radical and 5% progress for the Civil War. 33% chance progress goes down. Or let the procession proceed, just 10% chance of increasing it and decreasing it, but 5% of lower star and Pops become Radical. I'm going to risk it. We'll see what happens with this. I hope I got a good result. Didn't want to get that 5%. Let me take a look at Uruguay. It doesn't look like we're having any turmoil here, so I'm feeling pretty... Okay, here we go. So now the landowners are in it, and the rural folk have left and asked for homesteading. So that's unfortunate. All right, so we are going to have to fight our own landowners potentially. Plantation proponents publicize policies. Defenders of the continued slavery have published a wave of diatribes, treatises, and sensationalized fictional narratives, all to support their cause. The quantity, if not the quality, of these works is shaking public confidence in abolitionism. It is my duty, and it is indispensable. Wait, how do we have a stall event? Oh, now we have a stall chance because they just changed over a second before. That's brutal. That's brutal. I'm sad. It is my duty, and it is indispensable to the public interest, that I should remove prejudices against our nation's peculiar institutions as soon as possible. To do away with an institution which has existed throughout all ages, why? And the presumption of such an effort can be equaled by nothing but its folly. Let the slavers speak empty words full of nothing, reduced to enactment chance, for these publications are full of evil and lies, and must be challenged. 25% slavery arguments become popular, minus 15% enactment chance. 75% slavery arguments challenged, plus 15% enactment chance. You know I'm going to go with that second one. Come on, give me 15%. Yes! There we go. Alright, we had another event, the Invisible Man. Reliable sources inform about an internal plot to end the life of Emperor Pedro de Braganza. If we don't act in time, the stability of the nation will not be guaranteed. Perhaps it's their tone, perhaps the inevitable anxiety that comes with power, a dark, sweet kindness so disingenuous that it makes even traitors dread a last supper. People talk, and some of them wish for Pedro de Braganza to talk no more. 30 pieces of silver, a symbolic price. Today, maybe tomorrow if we're lucky. We shall find and hang them. Adds prevent the assassination plot to the Journal of Brazil. Alright, so I feel like that's something I gotta worry about now. Journal, prevent the assassination plot. Major situations. Find out who the plotter... So, progress towards discovering the assassination plotters is low. Find out who the plotters are and stop the assassination before it's too late. Increase your police institution level past the outlawed dissent, dedicated police or secret police laws, and research identification documents or mass surveillance to increase your chances of stalling the traitors. We'll complete if we discover who the plotters are. If completed, the assassination plot fails. We'll fail if the plotters manage to assassinate our ruler. If failed, triggers event assassination. Alright, so that's kind of vague. We're getting 4.1... We're getting 1 tick of progress per month, it seems like. So, let me see. So, increased police institution level. So, I can get there. It's going to have to mean cutbacks in education, which is a tragedy, but it's going to have to happen, because I can't let Pedro de Braganza get killed. So, what can I'm already building up my government admin, so I'm going to have to continue to do that. And we got a little bit of extra authority, so let's go ahead and throw another consumption tax at the wall and see what sticks. Luxury furniture, 2.28k. That sounds good. It's going to get us a nice pile of cash. A fort in a sea of anger. Mobs have surrounded an arsenal in Piauí, threatening to seize the arms and munitions stored within. While the guards are staving off attacks for now, if no relief is sent, then the arsenal will fall to insurrectionists. I couldn't sleep last night. The commander refuses to accept terms, and firing continues from both the arsenal and the emplacements that now surround it. After one loud blast, I sprung out of bed and went on my knees to pray as I'd never prayed before. A relief column could de-escalate the situation a little, but could escalate the tensions a little, but it's necessary. 5% of servicemen pops become radical. 2% or 66% chance of reducing the progress of the Civil War. 33% chance of increasing it by double the amount. The mob could be emboldened by a surrender, but we need to take that risk. 5% of officer pops become more radical. 33% chance of reducing Civil War progress by 10%. 66% chance of increasing it by 5. I think a larger chance of decreasing Civil War progress is better than a small chance of increasing it. So we'll go with the first one, and it worked. Excellent. The Invisible Man, an inside tip. Nuno Santos, leader of the Catholic Church, has come to us with an alarming warning. He is accusing the landowners of being the ones planning the assassination of Pedro de Braganza. Oh, really? Yeah, no one could have foreseen this. You know how I'm an honest man. I would never try to go against an equal, a gentleman, a true lady. But these are not noble people. They feast upon the words of envy and treachery, and they can't even keep their tongues inside their mouths, for they are deeply rotten. This isn't a surprise. This will advance our progress. Minus 15% interest group strength for landowners. Can we really trust a rival? He gets minus 20 popularity. Or curious, because we've also been hearing rumors about him. This will advance our progress to determine who's the plotter against our ruler. Minus 15% strength for the Catholic Church. Well, we want to weaken the landowners, because they're revolutionary right now. So we're going to go with the first one. And because their interests generally conflict with the interests of the nation of Brazil. Chances are pretty good, so I'm really hoping we can get a success on our next pass through this thing. Feeling reasonably confident. Really wishing the rural folk were not agitating for homesteading right now, but it is what it is. I'm hoping we'll be able to give them the homesteading they desire once slavery has been banned, but I wouldn't have been able to do it beforehand anyway, because these guys are equally opposed to homesteading as they are to slavery. It actually might have been the right call. The Invisible Man, an empty seat. A clandestine meeting organized by members of the armed forces has been discovered. While they swear that the purpose was purely financial, many are those who suspect their connections to the assassination plotters. The voices reach the street remarkably clear, considering their intentions. The sound of glass can only be heard from the interior, however. Their faces lose clarity when reflected in the wine. They've been there all day, a florist says, her calloused hands pointing with disdain. Saw them coming when I was opening the shop. They didn't even come out for lunch. Sounds like it was just a party. Interest group, armed forces gets happier. Rather suspicious indeed. This will advance our progress to determine who's plotting against our ruler. The worst things have been said about the rural folk. This will advance our progress to determine who is the ruler. So I can make the rural folk angry or the armed forces. I sure would love the armed forces to be happy. The rural folk are already pretty pissed. So, let's just go... Oh, but I can get them up to +10 if I don't progress it. Yeah, I'm going to go with the first one. That should activate patriotic fervor, which we're going to need in the event of a war. In the hands of the state. Did he smash his head into the cell wall? Was he tortured to death? The official story... Yeah, got it. The official story that the landowners-affiliated revolutionary died from cholera convinces only the gullible and the willfully blind. Only one thing is for certain. His supporters are livid and they are out for blood. It was the Freemasons, I tell you. I heard it from the butcher down the road that the warden's a member of that accursed cabal. It's them or the Afro-Brazilians, or both. The Emperor's one, too. That's why they offed him. The Emperor is Afro-Brazilian. Listen, kid, he says, blowing a thick cloud of smoke into the dimly lit room. There's a lot of things they don't teach you in school. Murderers, cries the crowd. Change progress of civil war by 10%. Landowners get stronger and angrier. Or only God and the warden knows for sure. Let us kindly ask the latter. Extra political movement, radicalism. Uruguay gets 3 devastation. Increasing radicalism at this stage, I don't think really impacts things. We're already way over 100, so I think we're just going to go with the second one, and radicalism will be what it is, and we'll live with it. So how's the plot? How did we... Are we not getting any... Okay, here we go. Yes, we're getting some monthly. And we've already got... We're still working on a government admin. I think I'm going to put one more construction sector up to iron frame. Well, can we get more iron from anywhere? We really can't. We're importing as much iron as we can. Here. Bananas. Yeah, and these routes are not profitable because these countries are trying to keep their iron, and iron's expensive everywhere. But obviously, we can't increase the amount of iron because the... Well, actually, let me see if Santa Cruz has iron mines. It doesn't. Oh, we do have some places that have iron mines. I don't know why I thought only Minas Gerais had iron mines. Right, because we have them in places where we were over on infrastructure. So let's go ahead and build some in Bahia. And that'll eventually let us get what we need to have. That said, I think government admin is going to be a priority. But I need paper mills for the government admin. Gosh, this hurts. Once we got one more level of government admin, we can start increasing institution level for the police, and that'll help. Alright, we're in drafting. So we've got 1 out of 3 successes. Troubles of the Commons. We're at 70% now. What the heck? Every tenancy of the landowners in Bahia has rental prices beyond reasonable limits. Their tenants direct their ire at the government for not protecting them. Humans have 2 reactions in times of strife. Seek culpability for their woes and address it accordingly. A sign of strength or fatal stupidity. Philosophers could debate until the end of days. They do agree it is not a sign of intelligence. The blame can be shifted, and those culpable profit most of all. Seize the ringleaders. Change progress by 10%. 5% of aristocrats become more radical, but landowners get even weaker. They ought to be charged with extortion. Rural folk get happier, reduce plantations throughput. Or rent needs a stern limit, reduce civil war progress. 2% of aristocrats become radical, light rent controls. Let me see. We're going to get 25% progress. I'm going to go with rent needs a limit. I don't necessarily care about making the rural folk happy, but reducing progress is important here, because this is going up really, really fast. I thought it wasn't going up that fast. Well, I'm definitely going to get slavery banned, but it remains to be seen if... So we have a 46% risk of a bunch of different countries. I think the way this is structured is it's telling you 46% risk, and then it's that risk for all of these locations. So we'll kind of see how things go. The whole center of the country is going to go. And yeah, we'll pray that our European allies are willing to help. Maybe I should... No, I don't want to decrease taxes right now. My legitimacy is going to go way up because the landowners are going to get a huge clout debuff when they turn into a civil war. The mob approaches. Belligerent crowds are increasingly provocative when confronted by troops in Bajo Paraguay. Hardliners in government are demanding tougher responses, while doves are calling for troops to stand down as the first hopeful step in de-escalation. A whiff of grape shot saved the day once, and it can be done again. I'm telling you, we need to show strength right now. Strength? Ha! Bullets are an admission of weakness. We need to talk, show them that we're not afraid. That's how we get to them. That's how we get them. Disperse the crowds by force, 50% chance of reducing progress, 50% chance of 5% of Bajo Paraguay becomes more radical, or order the troops to stand down, 50% chance of increasing civil war progress, 50% chance of 2% pops become more loyalist. I'm going to go with the first one. We didn't reduce the progress. Well, alright, so when this procs, we're going to get a civil war diplomatic place started, and we'll see what happens when we do that. Let's go ahead and get policing increased, and we'll see kind of how things go from there. We're making good progress towards reducing the assassination plot, and we're going to make more later. There's mechanical tools, so actually I don't need this paper mill as much as I did before, as long as I can find a source of sulfur. Continue. Uh-oh. That's a weird... Yep. Okay, I need sulfur in the customs union. So, we can get it. France. Sulfur is from France. Alright, now we've got enough sulfur to be able to run those paper mills. We're doing just fine. Well, we'll be doing just fine for paper. Yeah, there we go. So that gets up, and paper mills are doing just fine. And here's the revolutionary diplomatic play. Alright. They got a lot of areas. So let's go ahead and raise the armies. We lost a general, so we'll close out the 4th Brazilian Army and move that to another army. We will mobilize all our armies. I think our priority is going to be, we're going to raise as many conscripts as we can. Let's see. This army is going to be on this, which I see as the main front. Army of the South is going to be on the south. The Army of Amazonias is going to be over here. And we'll kind of see what happens. Where is the capital? What state are they using as their capital? Minas Gerais. Alright, cool. So that's actually really close by. So we're going to go ahead and designate that as a strategic objective. So who can we get in on this? Nobody. Gosh, well, I spent all this time making friends with European powers, and that's sad. They do only have 15 battalions. I'm going to go ahead and increase my number of conscripts, because I'm going to need more units than this. Wow, I'm not going to have much capacity for raising more units at all. Alright, so we're increasing the number of conscripts in this army. We'll throw in some conscript troops in this army as well, and they'll continue to be being raised. And then this army will just get a few more in the north, and those will get raised as soon as they can. We're a little short of paper and hardwood, so let's bring some in from abroad. We can buy them from the aristocratic revolt. Let's get them from Prussia. Let's get some from Prussia and some from the Netherlands for paper, and then for hardwood, let's get some from Russia and some from Sweden. That should help things out. We got some isolated areas, but I can't do anything about that right now. So, let's go on ahead. Just a setback. Law progressed to voting. Wonderful. The landowners, once a potential threat to the monarchy of Emperor Pedro, have become politically marginalized. This is surely a positive omen for the future of the stability of the Brazilian government. Bro, they're marginalized because they're revolting. What is the meaning of this? I bought you all, housed you all, even freed you all, at great cost to my family, and this is how you repay me? By taking everything I haven't nailed down? Smile, senhor. Order and progress have made it so that we are both hardworking men. Your coffee is of great value to everyone in Brazil. Your emperador offers his thanks as well as remuneration. Peanuts! I'm offered peanuts! I'll not be mocked this way. Mark my words, there will be recompense. +1 to the magnanimous monarch journal entry. That's rad. I'm so pleased. Enemies got 20. Enemies got 15 battalions, so they're not completely worthless. Are we sure none of these European powers are interested in helping out here? Sure would love having a modern army on my side. That said, I think we're just kind of doing what we're doing. So I'm going to set this guy to defense because the force comparison in the south here is not good. And both of these other armies we're going to leave on offense. I'm going to throw in another leader. Oh, all of them are landowners, guys. So this should change up the... Yeah, so the landowners are marginalized. I don't need to continue suppressing them right now. Standard of living's okay. Force comparison here is actually looking pretty good. And if I can merge these fronts, we can be pretty solid. So I'm feeling pretty confident about my ability to win this civil war. Overall, even without getting any help from anyone outside the country. So I think this actually does bode well for the stability of Brazil, despite being a little bit of a rough event. I'm going to increase the institution investment on law enforcement because we got a lot of government admin, and I need to sort out this assassination plot. 2 arms. All right, so we are in the fight for Brazil. With that having been said, though, I think we're going to have to do the actual war next time, because that's all the time we've got for now. Friends, I've had fun. I hope you've had fun as well, and I will see you on the other side.